All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with WND versus A7. This is the losers bracket finals. Whoever uh, loses this best of three comes in third place. Whoever wins gets the pleasure of facing TCA in the grand finals. And then we're done. So let's take a look at our lineups here. A7, we've got Brooksy in a Daring, Remy Lebu in a Shimakaze, additional 4 in a Daring, additional 3 in a Salem, Sabu in a Moskva, DKMMKW in a Wushta, Sunako Kirishiki in a Salem, Call Me Quartz in a Kremlin, and King of Hell this time is in a Yamato instead of Conqueror. Interesting. What do we have to the south, Puddin'?
What we have to the south is the only guy who spawned correctly, Daring.
Yeah.
Being in tow with a Des Moines Wooster Repub Gearing going to Apples. Then we have the Daring driven by Ferry with the Salem with Lasagna and the, what is that? Well, whatever, Kremlin going to Chocolate.
Deepest Dungeon. It's way too early to get me thinking lasagna because that's what we're having for dinner tonight. Thanks, Puddin'.
You're welcome. You know what? I'm just going to make some homemade lasagna.
There you go. Okay.
It's interesting that we've seen a Daring Salem Kremlin go kite the 10 line. It's going to be interesting to see if Deepest does the same maneuver as the last incident we saw, because I can't remember names and it literally just happened. Oh my God.
Oh, are you looking at Elbard and the Daring? Beaching and backing up?
Maneuver I described earlier. It's almost like it's a standard play for this. And look where they're shooting at, in that general direction.
Well, Dino making a very aggressive early position here in the Des Moines. Now, we've seen Dino do some crazy things as Sunako Kirishiki's Salem comes under fire from, I'm going to assume that's both battleships.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Last time we saw Dino play this island, he had a lovely journey from A to B to B to A to A to B to crap, I'm dead.
And then he died with another Des Moines on the opposite end of that island.
Yes, he had quite the journey. He reversing all the way to A, I believe.
That's right. And Duckman, I need you to turn in your old man card if you don't remember the name of Dark Helmet. Wow.
Well, Duckman has just sealed his fate of never winning another giveaway ever.
You banned that man. Anyway. Ferry now backing off in the Daring.
Duckman better be able to tell me who played Dark Helmet.
Sabu now backing off in the Moskva. This, by the way, is a very strong position on this map for anybody who plays clan battles.
Salem just took a torpedo on top of Bacon.
Well, remember earlier I mentioned how a Hydro Salem could work over there. Now you see why. All those single line torpedoes.
I'm turning into, if I'm playing competitive, Hydro Salem. You put it in a spot where that Hydro will be more useful.
Right.
If I'm doing randoms,
Radar.
Oh no, look. Dino's going into the channel he went into last time. It's almost like their playbook hasn't really changed.
Well, especially with Sunako taking those continued hits, it makes sense, right? He's repairing now, by the way. So he wants to have his heal available again.
Well, WND is going to get A for relatively freeness. Just like A7 got C for freeness.
Yes. For freeness.
Well, see, I like this positioning of your Daring and Kremlin and Salem much better than, what was it, AAO?
Yeah. See, this
Being
gives you
super
options.
aggressive, you have way more room,
Hmm.
especially for a battleship to maneuver. And
Yep.
the
And
Salem's got this nice big island.
that's why I was suggesting that that might have been their playbook plan, and they just hadn't adapted to it. Uh-oh, look over at the B cap as single line torpedoes go right between both W and D ships. Wow. Imagine being A7 and then watching this and seeing that and just King of Hell with a nice salvo there on Elbard as well. Oh, wait, we've got Daring Des Moines. Here comes Voltron, guys. All three of them right there.
Well, you know what? I mean, this is good. You put Daring in both corners.
Mm-hmm.
Then who do you shoot?
Mm-hmm.
More conga line torps going out at A7 Salem.
Oh yeah, they're just gonna keep fishing.
Or I'm eventually going to call them AO7. God, my brain does not like to work until the sun goes down.
Yes, and that will be a while.
Yeah, so you're all in for a wild, wild ride of apples, bacon, and chocolate from the professional.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we finally have the 10 line pushing. I do like how they do have the Salem and Kremlin built on the 10 line on the island, i.e., potentially taking the Kremlin out of this fight if the Salem and Daring decide to push.
That's correct. And you can see the Call Me Quartz just got slapped a little bit. Deepest Dungeon surprising him. And now I think he's deciding he's going to move into a kite away position while he has the chance to do so. Very smart decision there.
I love this maneuver. I love this maneuver. Make the gamer turn and just pray, guys.
Well, but he's not spotted. It's not a game return.
Your prayers have been answered that the Kremlin had HE loaded.
That as well, because the Kremlin Quartz is obviously expecting a bow-on fight.
And then the Salem has AP loaded. This is a disaster on so many levels. What are we seeing here?
Now, why is it bad that the Salem has AP loaded?
Oh, because the Kremlin's angled. The other thing is the Kremlin, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say, Wargaming needs to revert this or get rid of this limited repair party thing. Mm-hmm. Because if the only thing to get rid of stupid sub-pings is that button,
mm-hmm.
It's kind of stupid, right? Prior to subs, I loved it because it really made you be aware of not putting one fire out.
Yes.
But with the only way to clear that ping now, and that could be a huge difference, just one ping. You don't need to double for ultra homing torpedoes.
Well, and what you're getting at is in a line like the Soviet battleship line, or even the oh, hold on, look over at this Daring slap fight. Why did Ferry decide to move up that aggressively?
I don't think this is slap fight. I think this was a full, I'm just gonna hit you with the baseball bat.
I mean, it's like, now what did we learn? As he's detected now by the Moskva Sava.
We learned baseball bats hurt.
So anyway, the limited number of DCPs does hurt in random battles. Oh, there goes Ferry, just gifting his daring to the enemy. Ouch.
Let's see. Raz is spotted also over at Bacon. Not hurt as bad.
Mm-hmm.
This could be interesting over on the 10 line because the 1 line is just boring and well, Bacon's turned into a wee bit of a you take some damage, I'll take some damage, then you take some damage.
Yep. But by going back to the Kremlin situation, You know, AP on a broadside Kremlin from Salem at close range makes perfect sense. At longer range, you're probably, unless you're able to constantly hit the superstructure, you're not going to do, that much damage. Whereas if you're using HE, you can try to get him to work out all of those DCPs.
And that
Deep
is
is
going to matter at the end of the game. When
That's
you
the long play.
When you really need them to just die and burn out.
Mm-hmm.
The more you can get them to use that particular consumable earlier, it's better off for you because it's going to force him back way sooner than he actually wants to.
Yep.
Because he's limited on how many times he can put out fires.
Now, Deepest Dungeon, because he made that turn out earlier, is able to W away, but he's going to leave the lasagna behind. He's looking the wrong way.
Well, I mean, he is a giving person. Maybe they're hungry too, and here's that they're big fans of lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not exactly just leaving him high and dry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Deepest does have to give up some distance so he can remain dark, remain a threat. So they can't just push to Salem.
Correct.
Right? They're not just going to shove their Salem at their Salem with their Kremlin, because the Kremlin, could potentially still take a broadside from Deepest, right? So the Kremlins are going to do their slap fight.
Mm-hmm.
And the Salems are going to do their best at, try to help farm out a battleship until they start slap fighting. But the advantage is clearly for A7 because you have a Moskva and a Daring involved in this. Even if you did have your DD, your Daring so live, A7 has one more ship. Mm-hmm. Should give them the advantage. It's just patience, right? I mean, look at the score. It's 644 to 684. Even though WND still has two caps, this can still go either way.
Absolutely.
Right. The reason it is a little bit closer is because WND did lose a ship. As the Shimakaze gets caught out at A and everybody's shooting at him.
Well, Razy just ran into additional 4s Daring as well. And not much out of that engagement. And not much out of the Shimakaze, but DKM's Wushta now under radar threat. Yamato shells coming into Misa and missing.
Like, you guys might be thinking to yourself, well, they didn't do much to the Shimmy. Yes, but they did what they needed to. They pushed him back.
Well,
right? It's just a matter of
oftentimes,
who can trade the Roosters out at this point the fastest.
Yep, nice hit from Max's Republique. I have a feeling A7 will lose their Wooster here. Question is, will WND lose theirs as well? I like Talkbeer's Gearing getting involved as well with his guns. And
we do have a Moskva going through the channel.
Yep. And Sunako has just continued to just sit here. Watch these torpedoes. He's starting to back up now. Oh, underwater feature did not take that one out. And now he's down to 4,000 hit points.
Now he's screaming at Wargaming, why does the underwater feature catch me and not the torpedo? But see, that Wooster kill is huge on the A side because,
of course,
kind of can just reverse without any impunity to his broadside.
Yep.
Right? Like, he knows torpedoes are going to be coming, but I just got to move forward a little bit and face island armor. But it doesn't have to worry about us being citadel by a Wooster.
Yes, now there is additional 4s Daring torpedoes coming in. So we'll have to see if Dino backs into these.
Now it's 904 to 675, but I like WND ignoring the Daring that came from C to help farm out this Kremlin and being like, okay, you guys need support. Mm-hmm. We are in control of A, so what if you rotate your Daring over? We're going to make sure that Archive side lives.
Look at those torpedoes that came in past Dino. Literally, if he reversed a meter behind, he's taking 1, 2, or 4. I mean, wow. Really good cross torps by A7 right there.
Oh, look, Lasagna just went to the other side of the island, perfectly
Yep.
safe. But look,
And
but more
Deepest Dungeon.
importantly, yeah, look at Deepest. Deepest is now back into this because the Kremlin HP has been equalized.
Yep. Now the question is, I mean, if I'm Deepest, I'm going for the ram here, but it looks like he's trying for the drive-by. He's prepping his turrets early. Quartz is trying too, but I think Deepest has got it. Yep, yep. And that will do it.
Like that's the important thing, guys. The Kremlin just didn't bail completely on a side. He had to give up distance until there was an advantage, or at least situation was equalized. I mean, we
Right.
only lost 3 ships, and technically the Kremlin just died at the end. Like, like one ship for most of that game was the difference. And ironically, it's the team that won that lost that ship.
Right, right. So, it comes down to board positioning, it comes down to the cap control, and it comes down to basically not giving their opponent an option to push. And like you said, that Worcester kill was huge for WND because now A7 loses that flank to push down, and they want to push down the 10 line, but they can't. Why? Because that Kremlin is still sitting there and being a threat instead of just Wing away and running wholesale, which is what you typically see in ranked battles or randoms.
More importantly, the only reason they won is because they were Team Bravo.
Also true.
Our stupid Discord.
Who's stupid Discord?
I guess he's Discord and see where I can find it.
That could help. In the
That'd be a
meantime,
smart thing.
that would be possibly. So let's take a look at WND versus A7. This is game 2 of our losers bracket final. Here we are in Sleeping Giant. And looking at the north this time is WND with Takbir in a Gearing, Fairy in a Daring, Eobard Thon in a Daring. There's our Lasagna, Bogdan Laska in a Venezia. Dino is now in a Moskva. Farmslage in a Salem. Maisha F11 in a Worcester. Deepest Dungeon in a Montana. And Max 45890 in a Republique. Putin, what do we have to the south?
Well, to the south, we don't have any lasagna, so the steam's already stinking. But more importantly, on that point, there's still Team Bravo, so go Team Bravo. We have Shimmy, Salem, Worcester, Kremlin going to Apples. We have a Daring going to Bacon, and all the way over to I Want Diabetes Chocolate Cake. We have the Gearing Mosk Bobber gone and Worcester. Now, if anybody actually knows Bogadan, please tell him I'm sorry for lasagna. Like, I'm not doing it to be, like, rude or anything like that. It's just like I said, my brain works in really stupid ways, and I saw that, and the first thing that came to my mind is, man, I could really go for some lasagna now.
So, talking about really stupid ways, take a look at this. All 3 of WND's destroyers going to CCAP. 2 Darings and a Gearing, all going to C. This is going to be...
I don't think this is as stupid as people are going to think. Right? If you're going to kite from A, let them have it. Let your presence be known there. You're going to bring a radar, right? It's Moskva radar, so it's long duration. You have a Venezia.
Yep, which is obviously a kiting ship. Yep.
There is your kill for your destroyer, right? We all know where the Moskva is going to go.
Yep.
But the north side on this map really favors C because of the stupid island. So just go heavy.
Yep. Also, you take a ship out of the B cap. So that makes sense. Now, one thing I'm curious about, I saw a hydro ping coming out from Ferry a moment ago, and it feels like he's the one who's hydroing, but he's not in the lead. So that's very interesting. Ooh, Worcester gets spotted. No, what? How did he... Did he just guess? He just lost a lot of hit points. Yeah, he was spotted momentarily.
No, it had to have been a split second.
Yeah. They were
Like,
ready
this is
for a
the
spot.
like this is the thing, guys.
Oh,
You know
just
where
south.
everybody's going, right? You know where they're going, so you're gonna have your guns ready in that generalized area.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially people calling out RPF. That's why RPF is so big.
Right.
Oh, and he eats a torpedo. He didn't
He
get skinny
does.
enough for the
And
first set.
repub guns were ready and looking for that explosion. They just miss.
That is still one hell of a shot because it just went all around him.
Yep. Historically, a bracket is considered a good shot. This game,
We'll just call that the aiming bug.
right?
Because that's how good of a shot that was.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, here's the thing: you've got 3 DDs here, right? The Salem is in the correct spot. Like, what do you have defending Bacon? Well, you've got the Salem there with Moscow radar.
Yep. So King of Hell's Bergon is being pushed back. I mean, it's the only thing they could shoot for a while. So there you go. There's the radar from Maestro's Worcester catching the gearing off guard of all ships. Why is he sitting in his smoke? Usually you smoke and then you get out and you spot for your team. So,
I think that was a setup for potentially the next smoke with the way he was going, right? Coming
Yeah.
back to the Worcester that's going south.
Well,
Tough
but
break that 4 additional 4 is an additional 1 because we all know additional 1's the greatest.
what I'm saying is, I'm surprised that he was in his smoke. If the Worcester's moving away south, why would the gearing stay in that smoke? Why wouldn't the gearing come out of that smoke, start getting up to the Worcester, like you said, so he can smoke his teammate, get into a position where he can drag the smoke across, whatever he needs to do. Instead, he just sat there, got radared, and got dead.
That's not good for Team Bravo.
Absolutely not good for Team Bravo.
Now, the other thing is A7 has realized you really don't have any torque potential at A, so we can do whatever we want,
Yep.
right? Well, it is Venezia. Those things take a week and a half to get anywhere. So you're really going to have to guess fairly decently on how to send Venezia torps. Still can't catch somebody, but there's nothing to stop them from moving this, their smoke train to start farming out the Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shots going in on additional 3. Still not additional 1.
I'm watching
Ooh,
Sabu
it could
get
have been
farmed.
So much worse. Deepest Dungeon, I think, got robbed of a Citadel or 2 over at Apples.
Yeah, that Salem is currently walking through the Thunderdome, and I'm really not sure what he's hoping to accomplish. I guess, yeah, he wants to shoot Farm Salem in the rear. So, okay. And Sabu getting smoked now by Brooksy, but I think it's too little too late. Sabu on 3 fires right now, and I'm pretty sure those are all sticky.
Was Club Air banned?
Yes.
And look
A7
what they're doing
banned
with the
it.
Darings. Right, but look what they're doing with the Darings.
They're being clevers as Darings.
Yep.
Oh!
And it's actually working.
Big kill by Lasagna. He's SAP Spaghetti's the Shimakaze.
I mean,
just had to
that's
say
what
it.
you bring a Venezia for. Right?
Yep.
Now
Dino
the
gets him on
DD's
radar.
dead. Right, there goes your smoke train for the Worcester. Worcester now has to use some sort of island cover.
Yeah.
But poor Dino is going to be in big, hot, double doo-doo water when that Kremlin says hello.
Nice blind shots from Dino. Here comes the Kremlin. Dino's like, oh. And? Wow. That hurt, but could have been worse.
Well, I wonder if some of them went in the water. I wasn't looking that close.
DK just gets smacked.
Respotted. It's a matter of time before he gets farmed out because he literally has nowhere to go.
Another
He
Citadel.
will die at that island.
Yep, another Citadel on DK. There's another big hit, this time from Lasagna's Worcester, Venezia, that's changed to AP. Dino continuing to get smacked. Does take the Worcester out, but it ends up being a trade. And there goes Sabu to daring torpedoes. Farms does go down, though.
Ironically, this is not looking good for Team Bravo because you are massively down ships.
Just a few. Just a few.
Now, with
This
that
is
being said, you could potentially get this Salem additional 3, or you need to focus up on the Kremlin. Right? Like, Call Me Quartz will be more than happy to ram you to where Deepest doesn't want the ram to happen. Oof. Poor Lasagna takes a big hit from the Kremlin. Looks like Quartz is going to try for the ram, which I don't agree with.
yeah. I think you got to go for the drive-by and the win at this point. All right. Lasagna makes Inky.
Right, like, I like that he was shooting Venezia because it's going to be easier to take out than the Montana, but at some point you definitely have to get those turrets turning.
And Quartz is trying for both. He wanted to shoot the Venezia and get the turrets turned. And he does! He pulls it off!
Well
The mad
played,
lad!
Quartz. Don't mess with that man and his Kremlin. He will make you suffer.
Oh my god. Wow.
Ironic, that kill has actually brought these teams back to fairly even. The only problem is Quartz is a little bit low. A is now wide open for the Venezia to just go back cap it.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what he does. And Sunako Kirishiki's Wooster on the south end of the map is about to go down. King of Hell's not looking good either. So while they do have that great moment, it's probably not going to be enough to secure the win for A7. Or I should say to get back into it. We'll see.
Now you've got to take out one of these Darings. All right, like I'm just as shocked as everyone else sitting here. The team with more DDs alive is actually winning. I'm
right.
just as shocked as you guys are.
And the team that put all their destroyers together.
Like to be honest, the way they played those Darings, I don't disagree with that. They came in and they are in full control of C. Kind of have map control still a little bit more, even though A7's getting bacon. They ain't gonna hold it for long, right? They're focused on getting rid of King of Hell, right? Because then what? Battleships are even, and your Repub has way more HP than than A7's Kremlin.
That is correct. Now King of Hell is able to maybe limp away here as the destroyers for W&D have decided that they're just going to leave him for dead. He's on 2 fires, but his hit points are not ticking down, meaning he's healing through 2 fires. There goes the heal, there goes the ticking.
Now I do
One
like
fire's
that
out.
A7 realized they had a wild Venezia out trying to backcap them and got caught out by the Salem here.
Yeah,
And now
they
we
move.
have. You gotta do whatever you possibly can when you are alone on the kite side. I don't care if you got a border hump to save your life. You gotta do whatever it takes to live.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's exactly what he is doing.
Oh, here comes the Burgon salvo. That should
that was
do
a
the.
reload booster too. That was a reloaded booster shot, I think.
Well, they need to get him down as quickly as possible so that additional 3 goes dark. So the Repub can't shoot him and kill him. They gotta preserve hit points.
There we go. Like I said, Repub versus Kremlin. Repub's got the HP. I don't even need to pay attention. Repub wins that fight eventually. But I mean, look at the. Let's look at the DD Wolfpack part Bravo.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep, I was looking at him a moment ago.
You know, set of clubs you brought Daring, so maybe it's part Delta. Oh look, they're getting B cap, and there's nothing the Daring can do to stop it because the Salem had to go all the way out to deal with the Venezia.
Yeah,
Right?
the only
Even though the
hope that they've
Venezia-
got is torpedoes from Booksy's Daring. That's it.
Yeah, and they've already came and passed.
Yep.
Repub is just fine sitting there, moving forward very slowly, letting secondaries do some work on calming courts. Like, it's going to be a long little fight, but Max will eventually win it just due to the sheer HP difference.
Yep, he's shooting
And-
HE as well.
And he's shooting the correct ammo choice. Looks like he got that sticky fire.
Oh yeah.
Kremlin is going to burn out. Kremlin dies.
And that'll basically seal the deal. I just don't see a way for A7 to get back into this.
I mean, oh my God, I'm just as shocked as everyone paying attention to this. WND said, we don't need apples. We just need to protect bacon. So let's everybody turn around and head for a channel.
Yep, you get ready to receive. And here comes additional 3 Salem with the radar up. He's about to wish he had Hydro.
I was about to wish he had teammates also.
Yeah, well, and heal and hit points and yeah.
Well, it's
Torpedo dodging minigame intensifies.
Good thing it's right next to a Starbucks, so crew can safely get some hot chocolate and warm up. They're gone now. King of Howl is forced to turn back in to actually start receiving Howl in return.
I mean, he's got no choice, right? He managed to save his ship, which is quite an achievement given the situation. And now he's got to get back in. That's it. No choice. I'm curious about Brooksy, though. I mean, I get it. The Wooster is in a position he can radar cover all of the B cap, so there's no easy way back in for Brooksy. But I'm just curious at how far back he's playing. He's just staying in the Thunderdome. I thought he would have gotten out and tried to go to the north or something, head off the Gearing Daring or whatnot, but he's not. Instead, he's content to just luck chuck torpedoes from inside the Thunderdome.
Well, I think he's waiting for the Brigand to come up so they can go in together as he just turns and says nope to that theory.
Well, sorry, buddy. You're on your own.
Thanks, Brooksy. I'm sure King is saying the exact same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you like? And the only thing to do is just literally W at these guys.
Exactly. You get in the B cap, you trigger the radar, you pray really, really fast.
And you needed to do it as a group, not one at a time. This is not random battles. Everybody needs to move together. The only thing that would make this better if Brooksy eats torpedoes.
I know. I want to set up for my death pick on the repub, but I'm just waiting. And I got my eye on that just in case. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Nope.
No, and they died anyways. Well, congratulations to WND.
2-0 sweep.
But more importantly, doing something I don't think we were prepared for. We're just going to use Darings instead of clubs if you ban it.
Well, I have something to say about that, but I want to get to the winner screen so that I can cut this properly. So let's go to the winner screen.
And that is it for this lobby.
And recognize WND for the win. And everybody else, you know what that means. Go take a nap because we got about 25 minutes, maybe 30 before we get started. We shall see. We'll bring you that information when we can.